This is a HeadGum podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Complete Guide to Everything, a podcast about everything. I'm one of your hosts, Tom. I almost said Tim.
Yeah. No, I'm Tim.
Yeah. Hello, Tim. I always forget.
Yeah. No, we
one's
say
which.
that in the beginning to remind ourselves who's who.
One of the most annoying things hanging out with you is whenever...
Thank you, first of all.
Preemptive
thank you for whatever you're about to say.
It's like whenever we have to introduce ourselves to people.
Everybody's like,
Tim and Tom.
We also always have our arms linked together.
Right. And when we say our names, one of us dips.
Yeah.
I'm Tom and dip, and then I know I'm Tim and dip.
Yeah. No, that's how it goes.
You say it like a fancy lad, too. Yeah, it stinks, right? Like when we were in the UK last week, when we had to introduce ourselves to the Airbnb host, who was super nice, but that's always a weird situation.
I didn't like that Airbnb host, Tom.
It's always a weird situation too, because I'm always cagey about why we're renting the Airbnb. Someone would be like, "Oh, we do a podcast here, listen to it."
Yeah.
Because I would not, if I had an Airbnb rental and somebody was like, "Hi, I'd like to stay there. I'm a podcaster." I'd be like, "Abso-fucking-lutely not."
Yeah, you creep with your...
Yeah, get out of here. No, I'm not going to have some podcaster in here sullying my home.
At least you know they won't have any parties.
Yeah, they're not going to have any friends over.
Yeah.
But yeah. So that's one of my...
I did not like the experience of my least... This is why Airbnb makes me anxious.
Mm-hmm. You're in somebody else's home. You don't know if they've put cameras all over.
Well, number one, that. I assume they have. And, look, if you want to videotape me on the toilet, go have at it, pal.
You've said that. You've said that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, what do I care?
You
get your jollies any way you want.
You've stated many times that any toilet footage of you is considered public domain.
It's not that necessarily, Tom. It's just that I don't know, some creep's gonna watch me on the toilet. It's not like they're gonna broadcast it on TV and I'm gonna be embarrassed. And also, it's if they did broadcast it on TV, they'd be like, this poor sap. He's just going in the bathroom like we all do.
Who do you think would broadcast it?
Showtime?
The BBC? Oh, Showtime.
Yeah.
Showtime or Cinemax?
Yeah.
Toilet TV?
Yeah.
Oh.
I don't know. There's it's peak TV, Tom. You can
That's
find there's
true.
a channel for everything now.
Yeah, they're desperate for content. There might be a place for at least a special of you in the bathroom.
Yeah, so I'm never doing anything weird, so I don't really care about cameras. If people can watch me, congratulations. Watch me undress. You don't have the internet where you can watch attractive people undress? Okay, fine. But also, I hate making small talk, when I've just come off a plane or a train or something, and then
Or
someone
an
has to,
automobile.
somebody has to show you around their home, and they're just trying to make jokes and be it's just lady, get out of here! I just want. I know, but I rented this. Stop futzing with the remote control. I'll figure out the TV remotes.
You had so much trouble figuring out the TV remote.
Yeah,
you were furious.
That's also true. But all I want to do is just open my bag and usually take a nap.
Yeah.
And that's
in the bag?
Yeah.
Okay.
These are waste suitcases. They fold out into a full bed.
Right. That's not true.
That's not true. We can lie about them in this portion of the show, Tom.
Right.
In a hotel, they don't. I mean, you saw I had this problem at a bed and breakfast.
Uh-huh.
I just
want to be left alone.
Get to a place. I guess in all situations, all the time, always, never an exception. Just leave me alone.
Yeah.
That's all I want.
I'll start putting that in Airbnb instructions to people.
Well, no, she was asking me questions, and then she was talking to you for a while, and she was very nice.
You sound jealous. Then she was talking to you.
No, she was talking to you, and you guys were both making jokes, and I was like, Tom, end this. Get her out of here. I want to take a nap.
You are the one who claimed that I'm a misanthrope, and I'm like making conversation with the person whose home we're staying in.
We paid for it. Get out. This is our home for the next 24 hours. Get out of here. And she thought your last name was different.
No.
She like your last name was Collins or something, and she's like, we might be related, Mr. Collins. And that was so awkward to me. Like, I just walked. I went downstairs.
Wasn't that awkward? I just said, "Oh no, that's not my last name. My last name is Reynolds."
Yeah.
And like it was still true. And actually, it turned out like our families were from the same section of Ireland.
Oh wow, man, this was so much better than a nap.
You know what?
Hearing that conversation.
Well, maybe she would have said, if you weren't being so rude, like, you know what? I can't bring myself to charge, family. You boys stay here as long as you need on the house.
Why do people need to talk to me all the time?
Speaking of which, I almost called you at 6:30 this morning.
Why?
Because I woke up and I thought I had woken up from a nap and that I had missed the recording of this episode.
Oh wow!
Very
episode.
And I looked at the clock and it was like 6:25 and I was like, oh shit, I'm not going to be there in 5 minutes. I got to call Tim and tell him. And
you haven't called me.
Yeah.
In years.
No, I called you at the airport to tell you I was at the airport.
Oh, that's true. I didn't answer. I was going through security.
But if I called you at 6:30 in the morning, that would have been bad. Probably.
No, you know where I was, Tom?
Dreamland.
On the treadmill, baby.
On the treadmill?
Yeah, I'm training.
Oh yeah, you're running.
I'm a runner now.
Well,
these legs you see,
right.
they're sore. They are sore AF, man.
Well, then you're not a runner if they're sore.
What do you mean? I push it to the limit every day of my life.
What's the limit right now?
You know, I run for about a half hour.
Okay.
Yeah.
How far do you get there? A half mile? 3/4 of a mile?
Yeah, I run very, very slowly. Slow and steady wins the race, Tom. I'm gonna win this thing.
Yeah, I would take you for somebody that's running on a treadmill, hoping to get on America's Funniest Videos.
No, Tom, that is my biggest fear. Like, I am so afraid. I saw a guy fall off the treadmill yesterday or the day before.
Wait, at the gym?
At the gym.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So it's like a AFV live show.
And here's the thing.
Oh, if I saw somebody,
holy shit!
I've never seen somebody fall off the treadmill at the gym. I would have to like quit my membership.
Yeah, and the thing is, it was packed. It was like during the busy time. Everybody else handled it better than me. I was at first very concerned because like it was like come on, boom, 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 right? Like it's like you hit your knee and then like you flip over and like your legs go over.
Sometimes you get launched through the drywall.
Yeah. So and then when I realized what happened, like I couldn't stop looking, and then I was like, oh, is this guy embarrassed now?
Yeah.
Well, how is he handling it? And I was mostly concerned for him, but also like stifling a laugh. And everybody else was like kind of looking at me, like, stop looking at this. Yeah, people fall off the treadmill.
People were looking at you.
Yeah, it was
how
like,
hard were you looking?
I wasn't looking that hard. I guess all the people between my treadmill and his treadmill were kind of like looking straight ahead, and then saw me turn my head like numerous times, and then like looked at me like, what? Like, well, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Mind your business. Maybe that just a lot of people fall off treadmills at this gym.
Is it a gym for klutzes?
Yeah, it's a gym for klutzes and dummies.
I think I mentioned it on this podcast. Like, I went to the gym, and it was like a while ago, and I fell down the stairs.
Yeah.
And I fell down the stairs right into the weight room. So all the hunks were down there. All the hunks and beefcakes.
Did any of the beefcakes pants you?
No, the beefcakes were they came running over like, are you okay? You okay? I'm like, yeah, no, it's fine.
You were like,
Meanwhile,
I'm okay. Oh. And then your pupils turned to hearts.
I was like, no, I'm fine. Meanwhile, I think it was like the worst I've ever felt myself hurt. It was so painful. I thought both my legs were broken. I was just like, no, I'm fine. It's cool. It's great. And the biggest mayo face.
Yeah. Well, Tom, two worst groups to fall in front of: beefcakes and teens.
Yo, God, yeah.
One time
this is a
stumbled.
teen-free gym.
I stumbled in front of teens one time, like 12 years ago, and it's still to this day. That was the scariest moment of my life.
Yeah, no, I remember seeing people fall from when I was a teen.
And it was the best.
Yeah, it just imprinted on my brain. Like, oh, remember the time that guy fell and you saw it? It's
Man,
great.
yeah. If I was a teen and I saw that guy fall off the treadmill at the gym, well, that's the thing. That would have started if teenage Tim and Tom and all our idiot friends were on treadmills too. That would have started a chain reaction.
No,
well, one laughing so hard.
Yeah, one time my sensei made me do 100 push-ups because no, not me, a friend. Because he couldn't stop laughing at a guy who farted at karate practice.
What the hell was that sentence?
What do you mean? I was at karate practice. Sensei is a teacher in karate.
Okay, well, you can't just be like, one time my sensei.
Well, he's the only sensei I've had, Sensei Don Falco. What? You know he was my sensei. Still I think you're always a sensei.
Don Falco.
Yeah.
Mustache?
No.
Wow. I bet
No.
at some point he had
He had hair plugs. He didn't have a
Don
mustache.
Falco has a mustache.
Yeah. I mean, nowadays he might have a mustache.
We should look him up.
Yeah. No, he's in Florida. Somebody did look him up.
Yeah.
But somebody in that class, a friend of mine, somebody else was doing sit-ups and they farted, and a friend of mine could not stop laughing. And finally he had to go do push-ups outside. And then later they made him, and I don't know, we were probably like 13 or 14 at the time, made him fight this man who was 40 years old who had farted.
Who won?
The fucking grown man beat the hell out of my 13-year-old friend.
I don't know, Tom.
Well,
I'd get my ass kicked by an average
That's true.
14-year-old.
I should have mentioned that this guy, the 40-year-old man, and in my mind he's 40 years old. In reality, he was probably 19.
Yeah.
He had really bad anger issues. The sensei was always getting mad at him.
Well, that's the worst thing to do with to a guy with
Well,
anger
that's
issues.
why it was so funny that he farted when he was doing the sit-ups. I think he was doing sit-ups as a punishment for being so angry. It just makes it all so funny. Another question I have for you, unrelated to anything. How often do you think you could walk into a bar and convince the bartender you're one of the owners?
Tom,
Yeah.
this week we are talking about a movement. Not just a supermarket, Tom.
Mm-hmm.
A worldwide movement. Maybe nationwide.
Would you say this movement extends to the bowels? Just kidding, Tim. Just a little bit of blue humor.
We're talking about Whole Foods, and we're not talking about the foods. We're talking about Whole Foods Market.
What does that mean? What's the difference?
Well, Whole Foods are just foods.
Right. So it's like foods that nobody's taken a bite out of yet.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But we're talking about a store that sells food that nobody's taken a bite out of.
Right.
That's
Which
their
is,
whole gimmick. It's
yeah.
like, hey, buy an apple from us. Nobody's bit the apple yet.
Yeah.
There
And
still might be a worm in it, though. That's nature.
Right. Well,
that's nature. We can't.
Well,
we can't.
but that's the price you pay for not having one somebody took a bite out of.
Exactly.
That's why the Apple logo has the bite taken out, because before Whole Foods, anything you got at the supermarket had at least one bite taken
My
out
grocer takes a bite out of every apple, and he certifies each apple worm-free. Is he right 100% of the time? No.
of it. Right.
But he tries.
It never occurred to me when I was a kid that if a worm, because were you irrationally afraid of worms being in apples?
Yeah. Because
Yeah.
dang cartoons.
Right. Every apple, I was like, well, I'm really rolling the dice here eating this apple. There might be
Yeah.
a worm in it. And it never occurred to me that if there was a worm in it, there would have to be an opening that the worm got into. that worms can't be born inside of apples.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I thought you meant that like the worm couldn't like eat his way into the apple. That there had to be an existing wormhole. In there.
That like he would, and not a hole in the space-time continuum.
Right. There. I mean, the prospect of a worm being born inside an apple somehow
Is even more disgusting.
is the worst thing I can think of.
And then that's his whole world in there.
Yeah.
He doesn't know anything else. You take a bite and he's like, what the hell is all of this?
Blow this worm's mind.
Yeah.
You're doing him a favor.
Yeah. Well, if you bite him in half and then he turns into two worms.
Yeah, he's got a buddy.
Yeah. A brother in arms with no arms because they're both worms. Whole Foods.
Whole Foods.
You know, I went to Google this and I accidentally just like tapped the first thing. I was just looking for funny Whole Foods items and I found funny wholesome jokes.
Oh, you got, what was your favorite one?
A man runs into the vet's office carrying his dog, screaming for help. This doesn't sound like it's going to be a wholesome joke, right?
You know, it doesn't sound like a fun situation.
No, Nick was just telling us. Nick from Headgum was just telling us about how he had this
Don't
situation.
Spread people's.
Well, he had a
business,
scare with his dog. It reminds me of this story.
Okay.
This could be Nick.
Nobody.
The vet rushes him back to an examination room and has him put his dog down on the examination table. The vet examines the still, limp body and after a few moments tells the man that his dog, regrettably, is dead. This is a wholesome joke. The man, clearly agitated and not willing to accept this, he's going through the stages of grief, demands a second opinion. The vet goes into the back room and comes out with a cat and puts the cat down next to the dog's body. The cat sniffs the body, walks from head to tail, sniffing and poking the dog's body, and finally looks at the vet and meows. The vet looks at the man and says, "I'm sorry, but the cat thinks your dog is dead too." The man is still unwilling to accept that his dog is dead. He's, upset about his dog.
Is that the punchline?
No. I'm a quarter of the way through. So the vet brings in a black Labrador Retriever.
Black Lab. What kind of dog is the original dog? Do we know?
We don't know what the original dog is.
Okay.
It's not important to the joke.
Okay. Well, you mentioned a Black Lab. Is this going to be a racist joke, Tom?
No, it's not going to be a racist joke. It could be a yellow lab.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I don't know the punchline.
The lab.
Stop chastising me for not knowing what's important to
stop
this.
accusing me.
You telling me it's a wholesome joke. There's a deceased dog.
Yeah.
Not something to make light of. You bring somebody else's real life dog into the equation for some reason.
And Nick's dog's fine. Sam's fine.
Yeah, I don't. Okay, nobody cares.
So the vet brings in nobody cares.
No.
Well, now who's the one with a cold heart?
Oh, brother.
So the vet brings in a black Labrador Retriever. The lab sniffs the body, walks from head to tail, and finally looks at the vet and barks. The vet looks at the man and says, "I'm sorry, but the lab thinks your dog is dead too." The man finally, resigned to his diagnosis, thanks the vet and asks him how much he owes. The vet answers $650. Is that more or less than you would think?
Just to say that a dog's dead, probably more.
Yeah, that's what this guy thought too. He said, $650 to tell me my dog is dead, exclaims the man. Well, the vet replies, I would have only charged you $50 for my initial diagnosis. The additional $600 was for the CAT scan and lab tests. It's a wholesome joke. It's a play on words.
Yeah, it is. I don't know why the man, like a human.
Why would you have
doctor?
to charge so much for a dog and a cat to do a test?
Well, you see.
They get paid more than the doctor?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, because like a human, any human can diagnose a dead dog, right?
Yeah.
But a cat, for a cat to have that kind of, to be able to be brought in,
Yeah.
like, sniff around,
Yeah.
like it holds its attention, and then actually seems to communicate with
yeah,
the,
that is pretty
that's
rare.
a special cat. That's a
Yeah.
$300 cat.
Yeah, most cats don't. Well, you assume it's a 50-50 split.
Yeah, probably the cat.
I thought
scan
that
and
the
lab.
cat gets $550 and the dog gets $50. The dog gets the same as the vet.
Right.
That's the vet's code.
I don't hate that joke, Tom.
Yeah. Tim, it was the most popular wholesome joke on this site.
I don't believe you that you accidentally Googled that joke, though.
I know, because I look for
Did a boy on the playground tell you that joke?
Tim, you know that I'm not allowed at playgrounds.
Yeah, you learned that the hard way. Fell off the
Fell
string.
off the monkey bars and everybody laughed at me.
Yep.
These playgrounds nowadays, they're not dangerous enough.
Oh, yeah? Okay, tell me more, freaking baby boomers. Oh, the kids are too... You know what? Every freaking time, I hear somebody, around babies,
Yeah.
right? It's like, I know some babies. I know some people that have babies.
Yeah.
And then you see someone in
Yeah,
the older generation.
I know a big baby.
Who?
You don't know him.
Baby Huey? Yes. Guy's a big duck with a diaper.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, when there's adults around babies and they're like, babies are too coddled these days. Like,
and Euro is trying to like rough them up. Euro is trying to roughhouse babies.
no, not me. I'm like, because they're like, oh, you can't.
Yeah,
like,
you're
a baby,
afraid of babies, right? Like you're afraid to hold a baby.
Yeah, I'm afraid they're too fragile.
Yeah.
Like, I don't want to be the guy that like messes up a whole baby's life.
Right.
But like, but they're like, oh, you put them in a crib. You're not allowed to like put blankets in there. When you were a kid, we put you
asbestos in there.
Yeah, and there was just like all this stuff, and like it's like, oh, we did dangerous stuff all the time. It wasn't dangerous. You lived. It was like, yeah, but some kids died.
Right.
There's a reason they came up with this stuff, right? Like,
yeah.
Or some kids were hurt. Like this whole thing of like, oh, it was fine for us. It's like, they didn't just come
Yeah.
up with this for no
No,
reason.
it was just because nobody knew any better.
Yeah, these
and
aren't
like
arbitrary rules. Like,
if you went back in time and told somebody like, hey, you probably didn't think of this, but a thing that could happen if that's in the crib with the baby is this. Somebody
Yeah.
would be like, oh, I'll just take it out. That's not a big deal.
yeah. What were we talking about? Whole Foods?
Whole Foods.
Tom?
Yeah.
Do you shop at Whole Foods Market regularly?
Certainly not regularly. I thought last week, me and you went, sorry, I'm burping so much. Last week,
Jesus, you're editing this episode.
after the show, me and you both went to Whole Foods.
Yeah, I was looking for jackfruit in a can.
Is that a joke? Is that
No, that's
is that a euphemism?
it's a dirty joke, Tom.
Yeah, it sounds like that's how you get a
Where do you
hand
go?
job at Whole Foods.
Jackfruit in a can over here.
Yeah, we've got that in the bag, pal, for sickos. No, we went there after. Normally we go to the after party for the podcast,
Right.
but this time we were like, you know what? Let those kids have their fun at the after party. We won't.
Yeah, they get nervous around us.
Yeah.
It's like when the Queen comes to
Just like when the queen-
Harry's.
Well, we make them line up, so.
Yeah.
But we went to Whole Foods instead.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, is this the first time I've been to Whole Foods? Or like the first time I've like really like
really been there, like been present.
no, like I've been to the Whole Foods in Union Square a few times and like been like, okay, I'll pick up like this and this, and then got
Bread
into
and
the
milk.
line, bread and milk, and then got into the line and been like, oh no, screw this, I'm not gonna wait in that line, and just put it back. But then I realized I've been to the first Whole Foods in Austin, Texas.
In Austin,
Yeah.
Texas. Wow, Tom, how was that? A thrill?
You know
Clearly
what?
made a big impact.
It did. It was super nice. I loved it. There was like, food you could eat everywhere.
Wow, food! Wow,
Like food you could eat in the supermarket for free. That they were like, no, it's fine. This one's on the
Samples?
house. Samples
Okay.
of food.
Mhm.
They had like a bunch of wacky
People
stuff
get
in there.
Too excited about samples at like when they're like, go to Costco, get samples, and it's like, here we rolled up some salami. Do you want this? It's
Yeah.
it's fine, but like if you want salami that bad, don't buy a Costco membership and go to Costco.
No, because
Just get
you know
some
what?
salami. Salami
Ah.
is cheap, especially the amount of salami they're giving you. It's fine.
Yeah, but
Just buy it
salami
yourself.
salami doesn't keep. You don't want. I guess salami does keep, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like salted
cured,
or whatever.
yeah.
Cured. Yeah, they cured it of the disease that kills most salami.
Right.
Yeah, but you know what? You never want who's gonna go to the supermarket and be like, "Give me a pound of salami." I'm a real salami freak.
Why don't you get a
I'm real
quarter
salami
pound?
maniac. Well, a quarter pound.
What are you
it's
against
like,
meals?
Where are you? You're
You eat
wasting
all
my time.
You eat all your food in just bite-sized.
Either bite size or gigantic. Actually, that's very true. I only buy things in like sample size or bulk. There's no in between.
Do you make food, Tom?
Not as much as I should. Like, I never know where my next meal's coming from.
Wow, Tom.
It could be coming.
That's not really how people use that phrase, actually.
It could be coming from Seamless. It could be coming from the supermarket. I'm not sure. No, I don't. But I was gonna say that when we went to this Whole Foods last week, I was super excited because I realized I got in a big long line. But I was like, oh, I can get in the express line here because it's 5 items or less, and I had exactly 5 items.
Congrats.
My 5 items were $45.
What did you buy? Some fancy salami, it sounds like.
Gold flake salami.
Nice.
No, it wasn't anything that fancy. I bought fancy Swedish fish.
What do you? All right, define fancy Swedish fish.
It said natural fish on it, which is misleading because they weren't natural fish. They were still Swedish fish, but I guess you could tell by looking at them. It was a see-through package. They weren't trying to pull a fast one on me.
Right.
Swedish fish.
How much were the Swedish fish?
See, that's I think like $7 or $8.
Okay, well that's your bad.
Yeah, I mean,
Don't spend $8 on candy.
Well, no, you can spend $8 on candy, but get a lot of candy.
Yeah. All right. Go on. You act like this was none of this was disclosed to you until you were leaving.
It wasn't real clear where the prices were on things.
They
weren't on the package. They were not on the package.
Yeah, but they're on the shelf, Tom.
Yeah, but I'm moving too fast to.
Yeah, I was 33 before I looked at the price of anything in a supermarket. I'm a bad shopper.
Well, I am too, but that's where I think Whole Foods is dangerous, and that's where it has this reputation of being super expensive, is at 99% of the supermarkets out there, you're like, oh, I'll get a can of beans. How much could a can of beans cost? I wouldn't look at it. But at Whole Foods, they're like,
wait, you bought a can of beans?
No. I'm just, it's an example, Tim. Jesus.
Well, I want to know
Use
what
your
you bought.
imagination.
You bought.
I'm going to get to what I bought. But at Whole Foods, they might be like, oh, well, we sell this one can of beans that's $20.
Yeah, fancy beans.
Yeah, well, no beans are worth that much.
Fancy beans are, Tom.
Oh.
Have you ever had fancy beans?
I've had.
You haven't lived.
I've
No.
had fancy beans, believe me.
You think you have.
I've had beans of all type.
I want a feast. I want a bean feast.
What's that?
That's what Veruca Salt, I think, sings in
A bean feast.
yeah, like that's she's singing
She's
the
a little
song.
rich girl, and that's what
In
she
Willy Wonka,
imagines?
she's like it's a song about how she's spoiled and she gets
Yeah.
everything, and the first thing she asks for is a bean feast.
Yeah, maybe there are fancy beans, huh?
Yeah, telling you.
Uh,
So anyway, what did you get?
I got Swedish fish.
Swedes. Swedes.
I got a chicken salad sandwich that was not good.
All right, the chicken salad sandwich that had to be $9.
Yeah,
All right.
maybe. The big thing that bit me in the ass was
A shark.
no, Tim. It wasn't a shark that bit me in the ass.
What was it?
It was. I went to their like hot food area.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah,
Wanna
we parted
get
ways.
some hot food, baby, this evening. Get some hot food, baby, tonight. I was singing that as I was shoveling in hot food.
Oh.
We split ways.
We parted ways because
Yeah.
I couldn't
Well,
find
you
this
seem-
canned jackfruit for the life of me.
Well, I told you they're in the back with the creeps.
Yeah. Well, no, this is also, we also went to the worst Whole Foods in the world.
The Whole
right?
Foods in Williamsburg, man, every single person, no offense to anybody who shops at this place, but boy, this is the dregs of society.
You know
The
what it
dregs,
is?
and by dregs of society, I mean everybody there had a net worth 10 times that of mine.
It was a bunch of finance bros that
Yeah.
just like barreled down the down the aisles.
Yeah, where's the protein powder?
Yeah. And then also women in
Where's the
yoga
jackfruit
pants.
in a can?
Yeah, Tom, I was very surprised. I couldn't find jackfruit in a can anywhere there.
Yeah, it was just full of like rude people, right?
Yeah, well, it's Williamsburg.
Yeah. But we parted ways. You were getting annoyed at me, I think.
Yeah, because you were just tagging along.
I was just
Like,
doing
hate-
commentary.
Yeah, just hating everything. And that's fine. I hate it. Like, I don't need another voice in my ear all day, like being like, man, the world sucks. Everything sucks. This
Look
sucks,
at
right?
look at this product. Look at this person. Look at
Yeah,
this aisle.
I got this. I have the same running commentary in my head, Tom. I don't need you there.
So I'm following you around with a chicken sandwich in my hand. You're trying to do like your weekly shopping. No, I'll wait for you.
But like we parted ways, and then I saw you like 20 minutes later at this hot bar.
Mm-hmm.
You seem like you're really stocking up. I left empty-handed, Tom. I did not find
You
the
didn't
can.
buy anything.
I couldn't find the canned jackfruit, and that's all I wanted. I
Well-
thought Whole Foods would have it.
Did you ask anyone?
I'm not gonna ask somebody.
Tim, you were there for a half hour looking for something you didn't
I
find.
did 2 sweeps of every aisle, and it
What
didn't-
is canned jackfruit?
It's jackfruit.
What's jackfruit?
It's a fruit.
Jackalope? Jack-o'-lantern?
Yeah, both of those. You're right. It's this fruit.
I've heard it, but it's not like I don't know what jackfruit is.
But then when they put it in a can,
I don't even know what it is outside the can.
it's nothing you've ever seen.
Oh, geez.
But when
you
they put it
fit
in-
right in at that Whole Foods.
When they put it in a can, it gets like flavorless. But then,
That's why you want it.
yeah, because it has the exact consistency of pulled pork. So you
Oh,
fry
okay.
that up, you put some barbecue
Ah.
sauce in it, and then suddenly Timmy's eating a pulled pork sandwich, which he hasn't had in a year.
Right. So it's
How do you
like
like me slipping into third person once in a while?
great. Not disorienting at all. So it's like a stringy fruit.
Yeah, I think so.
What does it taste like outside the can?
I hear fresh.
Uh-huh.
It tastes bad.
Yeah. Maybe that's why I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
I've heard of it, but I've never had it.
Yeah.
As far as I know. Maybe I have. Maybe I've gotten a pulled pork sandwich and somebody's been like, yeah, here you go, knucklehead.
Here's the infuriating thing. They have these stations upstairs with
Yeah.
overpriced food. They have a jackfruit sandwich, like a pulled pork sandwich,
Yeah.
for sale for $16 or whatever. I was looking for a can for $3 so I could go home and make it myself.
Yeah. Well, they don't want you to do that.
Well, they have ingredients for a lot of. They're not like, well, no, we're not going to sell you food because we're going to sell you pre-made food.
Well, I don't know.
What was on the shelves then, Tom?
What was on the shelves?
Yeah, if
There was
not
no
food.
jackfruit.
Yeah, but I don't know.
Maybe they used the natural jackfruit
Mm.
to make their pulled pork.
I didn't see any fresh jackfruit either.
Oh, so you debased yourself to even look for fresh jackfruit.
I mean, I was there, Tom. I made
Yeah.
the trip. I don't
It
see why
was
you had to
not
turn
much of
everything
a
into an
trip.
argument.
Uh,
Tom, what is this? What are we doing here?
So when I got the hot food was what really screwed me over because I guess like really didn't think about weight and like listen, weight's all they care about because I was like, oh, I'll get some stuff that's like cheap, but the cheap stuff I got was heavy.
That's how they get you,
Yeah,
Tom.
yeah.
The heavier stuff.
When they
pull
went
back
to
on the-
weigh it, it was 1.5 pounds of food. I was like, what, 1.5 pounds? This is
Your mouth's
barely
full. How
filled.
much was it per pound?
Like $11 a pound.
Wow.
Yeah.
Oh, that's what did you in.
Yeah, that's what did me in. And then I got the Impossible Burger.
Mm-hmm. Those are reasonably priced. 2 patties for $5.99.
No, they were $7.99.
Ooh.
Yeah, Yeah, they were not, or
Williamsburg
maybe
prices, my
maybe
friend.
$8.99. They might have been
What?
$8.99. They were up there.
No.
It was like, and again, I didn't look at the price, and honestly, I didn't care. I really wanted to try the.
Did you try them?
I did try
What'd
them.
you think?
I
Beyond Burger's not Impossible
Beyond
Burgers, by the way.
Burger.
Yeah.
Beyond Meat. Yeah. The first one I overcooked.
Okay.
The second one I cooked better. I like both of them. This is what it tasted like. And for anybody that doesn't know, there's the plant-based burger that, but it's supposed to like replicate meat. They're not trying to make a veggie burger. They make a big deal out of how they put it in the meat aisle and all this.
Right, which they also don't.
No,
they
that's
did,
where
they
I
did,
found
they
it.
found- Okay, yeah.
They put it in the veggie aisle too.
Mm-hmm,
Nothing. Hey, nothing. Hey, no law saying they can't do that.
And there is actually an ordinance.
I thought it was good. It tasted weird to me because it kind of tasted like a really good burger that was over processed.
Yeah. Look, here's what it is, man. It has a better consistency, closer to a burger than any other veggie patty.
way closer.
You still have to load it up with cheese and condiments and toppings to make it actually taste like a burger.
I think they'd be smarter if they didn't try and make these like, nice thick burgers. If they made them like the thin fast food
diner burger,
style.
baby. Yeah.
Just like, no, this is just like another ingredient in a
I
sandwich.
kind of want to experiment. Maybe we should experiment with these.
Yeah,
Do
we
you
can
wanna
cut them
come
in
over?
half.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll come over.
All right. All right.
And they put the plant blood in there, the heme.
No,
they should just
no,
sell
no.
that.
That's the Impossible
No,
Burger.
no, that's these guys.
No, it's not.
No, they do it. Then maybe I'm talking about Impossible Burger. Look, I don't know what I'm talking about.
This they put beet juice in there for blood.
Oh, well. Look, as long as I'm thinking I'm drinking blood, that's all I care about.
Yeah. All right. So you had a less than stellar.
Everything I got was delicious.
Are you one of
I
these
ate all
people
those.
that-
I ate those Swedish fish like you wouldn't believe. They were not that much. They were not that much better than.
Yeah, you got duped by
Yeah.
a scam.
I should just buy. No, I'll eat them all
I tried to make a really big Swedish fish once.
by melting.
Yeah.
Why? Why? Why do you care?
To see if it could be done.
Tim, you're to see if it can be done, and you call astronauts cowards.
I don't think astronauts are cowards, Tom. You always say this about me. I just don't think they do anything.
Right? They're
They
not.
look, I got out a big frying pan. I dumped all the little Swedish fish into that pan.
Uh-huh.
I melted them down. What did an astronaut ever do? He sat in a chair.
Sat in a chair, then got up and took a walk.
Yeah,
Played golf
yeah,
sometimes.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
And I'm the coward.
I mean, some of them have died being astronauts.
Yeah, no, I'm not saying it's a cowardly thing.
Right.
I'm saying it's a very brave thing, just not very hard.
Okay.
Like, I don't think it's not very hard to get to that level where they will, like, NASA
Right,
makes
right,
you really runs you through the ringer.
Yeah.
But once you sit in that chair in the rocket, you're just sitting in a chair, and you don't even have to do anything. Houston does everything. That room full of people.
You have to do stuff. Have you ever seen Apollo 13?
I mean, that's a movie, Tom.
All right.
Look, I'm not saying they're cowards or bad people.
Right. Just lazy.
No, not even lazy. That's what the job entails.
Right.
It's
just
fine.
a very easy job.
It's a hard job to get
Mm-hmm.
and an easy job to do.
Yeah. Hard job to lose. You think they're comfy, the astronauts.
Yeah, I mean, I think once you're in the shuttle
Yeah.
and they're starting that countdown, you're not getting fired.
Right. I mean, I think if you like aren't trained well, like just the blasting off could kill you
How?
because the G's you're pulling.
But you're sitting in a chair.
Yeah, but you're still pulling G's.
Look, I'm not saying they're not heroes. I'm too afraid to do it.
Right.
Right? It's terrifying. Things go wrong. But if everything goes right,
Uh-huh.
an astronaut is going to sit in a chair and then float around like they're flying.
Yeah.
And that's that. And case closed.
But you were brave, melting down, trying to melt down. What happened when you tried to melt
I
down?
got stuck to the pan. I had to throw out my
What do you
mom's
mean?
frying
It
pan.
got stuck to the pan. Of course. What did you think was going to happen?
Black smoke was everywhere.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
were heating them up too hot. You
Yeah,
can't-
it was the first time I ever used a stove. I was like 11 years old.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, my parents were not thrilled with that experiment. Me and our friend Chris
Yeah.
did that.
I can imagine. When I was a kid, one time I had a solar-powered calculator that wasn't working, so I put it on top of the light bulb inside a lamp, and then completely forgot about it. And my mom was like, "There must be like a fire in the neighborhood. It smelled," and it was like the most horrible burning plastic smell. And then finally, she tracked down the smell to and just like, "There's a calculator in here." I was like, "Oh, that was mine."
Is it
Is it
charged?
charged up? No. Oh no, it's melted onto the light bulb. The house smelled like burnt plastic for like a month. It was
You
horrible.
open a window.
We opened a window.
Open a window, Mr. Collins. Tom,
Yes.
your boy Bezos bought Whole Foods.
He's not my boy.
You love Jeff Bezos of Amazon.com.
I don't love Jeff Bezos. I'm not as against him as you are. You hate him.
I don't hate
You
him.
call him old baldy.
I mean, look, do I think Amazon should own one of the largest, most successful food retailers?
Are they one of the largest?
Yeah.
Well, like by revenue, but like location.
I mean, they have a bunch of locations.
I've only been to 2.
Yeah, so
3.
you're right.
I've only been to 3.
But yeah, and then like all of a sudden they like the first day. All right, here's what I took offense to. Everybody's like, "Hey, Amazon!" Amazon's one of those companies that like it's big enough, like Apple, like if whatever they do, like
Yeah,
it's
it's
like news. But then they put like 10 things on sale the first day, and everybody's like, "Oh, look at you save a whole bunch of money!" And like this was on the front page of newspapers, and it was a supermarket sale. It was like, "Oh wow!" And like it was all
Tim,
like the
I've
same.
told you multiple times the supermarket flyers that come in the newspaper are not the front page.
It wasn't a circular. You're being obtuse, Tom. And everybody got duped into being like, well, Granny Smith apples are
Wow.
30% cheaper. Yeah, that was at my freaking supermarket too.
30%.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, so it was God. And they were I did think it was cute.
Well,
they
let me ask.
put melons on sale that day, in celebration of Jeff Bezos buying the company. They were like, some melon head like this guy. all melons on sale, like our melon-headed leader.
I don't think that they ever put it that way.
I think so.
Wow.
Yeah,
well, that's
it's
very
the Bezos
disrespectful.
special.
then.
No, he loves it. He loves when people come up to him and rub his bald head.
Yeah. Remember when he laughed real hard when they showed him the Segway for the first time?
I don't remember that.
Well,
I
that
don't
was like-
idolize him like you do.
You don't idolize the Segway like I do.
No.
That was a big thing. Remember when the Segway was Ginger?
Yeah, I know.
Before the Segway was unveiled and everybody thought it was a jetpack?
Well, you did.
Well, a lot of people on the internet did.
Tom, nobody cared as much as you did, and it's hilarious that 20 years later, you're the only person in the world who hasn't ridden a Segway yet.
Ah, God. Yeah,
What? It's not hard, Tom.
it is hard. They're illegal in New York City.
No, I don't know. Go somewhere else.
Well, I'm not going to go through all that trouble. I've never been in a situation where I could ride one. I need to go to a dealership and get a job.
You need to put your. No, you don't need to do that, Tom. I paid
No,
$12.
No,
and I
they
got
would
to
have
ride.
to let me drive. I'd be
You
no,
don't need
I
to-
would put my foot down. I'd say, listen, if you want me to sell these things, I got to drive one. I got to know what it's like.
I know, but what I'm saying is you don't need to change your whole life and career just to ride one
Well,
time.
what I'm saying is I'm willing to.
All right.
I almost bought one recently.
They're illegal where you
I
live.
know. I was going to be like a modern day outlaw.
How would they catch you?
A modern day Bonnie and Clyde. That would be me on a Segway. All the front pages, instead of melons being on sale, it'd be like modern day Bonnie and Clyde strikes again, riding a Segway, or in this 1 block radius. Anyway,
Does Whole Foods being bought by Amazon make you more or less sympathetic to the brand, or does it?
I don't feel sympathy or unsympathy.
Does it make you
Antipathy?
more or less likely to shop at Whole Foods?
More likely.
Because you love Amazon.
Because I have a Prime membership, and if they're going to tell me, hey, come in this place and we'll tell you you're better than other people, sure, I'm in. That's all it
Status thing.
takes.
It's a status thing.
Just
I
a
see.
status
Okay.
thing. One of the things that they had on sale the first week, avocados?
Maybe.
Yeah, it was, Tim. It was a trick question, a trap. That's all people care about, avocado prices.
Okay.
Millennials love avocados, Tim. That's why they can't buy anything else. They're so busy buying avocados.
Okay.
I was looking at this list of like ridiculous things Amazon had, or not Amazon. Well, yes, Amazon, Whole Foods.
I hate you.
Have you seen this? They have kale-a-mole.
It's guacamole made with kale.
Yeah, I know what it is.
Okay.
It's right in the name.
All right. I thought it was like, holy moly, there's kale.
Kale-a-mole. I mean, it looks
I
like
thought it was
guacamole. I think it still has avocado in it.
Yeah, they put kale in it for the
Yeah.
added iron. What's in kale?
Um,
I'm not asking you anything about kale. The only thing you know about kale is that they used it in the
In Pizza Hut.
salad bar
Yeah,
in
as
between the thing.
decoration.
Yeah.
they were
You,
the
you
biggest.
break out this fact literally
It's the
every
most
day of your
amazing
life.
fact. They were the biggest consumer of kale before everybody else was
Cool.
like, hey, what's kale?
Awesome.
I mean, everybody saw when they had the asparagus water. They had to like apologize for that. It was just water with asparagus, and it was $6.
Yeah.
They sell ornamental kale. They love kale there. You know
America
why?
loves kale, Tom.
You know why they love kale and why
'Cause
Amazon loves
Beyonce?
them? No, because high margins.
Yeah.
Good margins on kale. They have a chicken lemon kale sausage. It's a green sausage. It looks like a turd when you're sick.
Looks like Shrek's dick.
It does kind of look like Shrek. I mean, I've never seen Shrek's dick.
I
but-
have. It does look like lemon kale.
Well, you said
sausage.
someone recently. That was in London that you're friends with, not friends with, but you met Shrek.
I met Shrek.
That was
He
in
was
Scotland.
He
It
was
wasn't
he
London.
was nice to me. Shrek was a good man, a good ogre.
Good man.
What? He shook my hand.
He's not a man though. He's an ogre. I like that you corrected yourself.
Yeah. Okay. How do you laugh at me for every
But-
mistake I make?
They sell.
Slip of the
no,
tongue.
it wasn't a mistake. It was that you corrected yourself. I like that, and you recognize that he's an ogre. They sell limited edition tomatoes.
How are they limited?
They had a sticker on 'em that said limited edition.
Hmm.
They looked. You know what they
This is a
didn't?
dumb internet list that you're looking at, right?
I beg your pardon. It's from BuzzFeed.com. Tim, how would they have a dumb list? $80 honey. Finger limes.
What are finger limes?
There's like little tiny limes. They kind of look like.
Fingers.
No, actually, they don't even really look like fingers. My supermarket just started. Oh no, it wasn't my supermarket. It was Whole Foods. God damn it! Now I'm getting confused.
She went to Whole Foods one
Yeah,
time.
Whole Foods had. No, it wasn't Whole Foods. It's a different place.
Holy crap, Tom! Nobody cares.
They had tiny bananas that looked pretty good.
Did you buy them?
No, I wasn't in a proper frame of mind to be buying bananas at that point. No, I think I was like on my way to work. It was like, what am I going to do with all these bananas?
Eat them, Tom. You eat them.
It would have been a lot of work, Tim, because they were tiny. You barely got any banana out of these
Then
guys.
why would you buy them if they're all peeled?
That's why. No, they're not peeled already.
No, if they're all peel.
Yeah, that's why I didn't buy them.
Okay. Well,
but
you seem like you wanted to buy them.
I wanted to buy them just because it was a novelty.
Yeah.
All I want to do is buy novelty items.
That is You delivered that like a joke, but
No, it's not a joke. It's all I'm really concerned with. Bananas are great, huh? What a great food.
I think I
Are
might
bananas-
be slightly allergic to bananas.
Ooh, why? What happens?
I'm short of breath whenever I eat them.
You know, you gotta chew them.
You don't really have to chew them.
You can't just swallow them whole, and you gotta take the peel off.
I do take the peel off, but I do often swallow them whole.
Right, and then you eat the peel afterwards.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you shouldn't eat the peel. What happens? Your throat closes up?
Yeah, I just feel like a shortness of breath.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That stinks because bananas are great.
I still eat them.
Yeah. Wow. Well, now who's the brave one? You.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If I were in space, though, I wouldn't risk it and eat a banana.
Right. Very
like-
hard to get you to a hospital
Yeah.
on time.
Exactly.
They probably have like epinephrine pens.
Yeah, but I hope it doesn't come to that. I don't want to be shoving an EpiPen into my chest in
in
space.
space. Yeah.
Because then it'll puncture the spacesuit and I'll
You're not
get sucked
wearing
out of the
this-
suit and die.
Oh, in this scenario, you're out on a spacewalk
Yeah.
eating a banana.
Tom, here's the thing. If I'm going to space, I'm
Mm-hmm.
not sitting in that chair the whole time. I'm going to get out and hold on to the outside
Yeah.
and hitch a ride, skitch around the universe that way.
You know how they always show like the bathrooms in space shuttles and stuff?
No.
Well, they show like, look, here's like the tube that sucks the poop out.
No, I don't know what you're watching. I've never seen that.
You've seen things because it's fascinating. Like, how do you go to the bathroom? How are there not, poopy and pee-pee floating around all over the place?
Right.
It just occurred to me the other day that like all these things I've seen, it doesn't seem like there's any privacy. It seems like all the other astronauts still watch you do it.
I mean, you don't have to watch, though. Like, you can just not
I don't know.
look.
There's not much going on up there. I mean, it's probably real exciting in the beginning, but then after a while, it's like, you want to go watch Greg poop? All right, I guess.
What I would say to that is like, no thanks.
Well, it'd be like, well, then don't look to your right because he's doing it.
I get
He's
all
doing
my
it and there's nowhere
poop
else to go.
watching using the cameras at my Airbnb.
Right, you hack into the cameras.
No, what I do is if I were an astronaut, I'd put my house up on Airbnb like the day before I left for space, and then I'd just stream the cam to my iPad, and in space I could just log on and check the cameras out.
I don't think that's the way space Wi-Fi works.
What do you mean?
I don't think you can just like stream video.
Why not? I have an iPad.
Well, would they let you bring it up there?
Probably.
That's the question. I don't know. It costs a lot of money to send things to space.
Nah, I'll put it in my bag with my other stuff. Hey, Tom.
Yes.
You know what I think we should do? Solve a problem. You didn't answer my question.
No,
Solve a problem.
I was trying to think. You didn't let me.
Okay. I think we should do Tim and Tom solve your problems.
Okay, let's do it.
Hello and welcome to Tim and Tom Solve Your Problems. I'm Tim.
I'm Tom.
And we're going to solve a problem. This week's problem comes to us from Charlie. Charlie. If you have a problem you'd like us to solve, email us at thecompleteguidetoeverything@gmail.com. Tom?
Mm-hmm.
Charlie writes, Dear T&T, that's us, please S this P. I've recently become a vegan from a carnivore. Not really.
That is set from a carnival.
And now I'm looking to make... Wait, hold on.
A
Now,
fortune teller put a curse on me.
and now I'm looking to make some new vegan friends. I'm also single and noticed that quite a few of the people who have matched with me on dating sites are also vegan. Problem solved.
Yeah.
But I'm not really attracted to any of these people and don't actually want to do the deed with them.
What's the deed? I wonder.
Yeah, maybe I'll elaborate. Is it rude to message someone and say that I don't want to date them, but I do want to befriend them for their vegan know-how? I want new plant-based friendships, but calling them ugly won't get me anywhere.
Well, Jesus Christ, Tim.
What?
Yeah, all right. I'll let you finish.
Additional info, I'm a 24-year-old bisexual male with good hair and a can-do attitude.
Well, not if they're ugly.
Thanks for all the podcasts,
You're
which
welcome.
is how I sign all my emails. Charlie. Thank you, Charlie.
I think in general you can't tell anyone that they're ugly on a dating site.
I think he's saying the implication would be, I don't want to date you, but let's meet up. Would be like, oh, he doesn't find me attractive, right? And then if somebody's
but
saying,
then-
I don't find you attractive, it's a short jump to be like, he thinks I'm ugly.
Right. Yeah, I think in general on dating sites it's hard enough like tricking somebody into meeting you.
Is that what you do, Tom?
What? No, that's not what I do.
What do you tell people to trick people and trick them into meeting you?
Well, it all starts with a Craigslist headline. No, I don't trick anyone into meeting me.
Okay, you said that, you implied that you did.
No, I implied maybe other people do. I don't know.
Okay.
Tim, I'm not monitoring everyone's internet access like you. I think it's like a tricky enough thing to ask somebody to meet up and like kind of sort that out, to try and give like a caveat ahead of time of like, I'm not interested in you sexually or, even lovingly.
Yeah, I mean, the thing to do is ignore people, right? Is that how those sites work?
Yeah, I mean, that's mostly what I do on them. I just ignore everyone, even
People you like.
even beautiful women, even Swedish supermodels
Right.
with PhDs.
Wow. Well, that's intimidating.
That is intimidating.
Would you date a doctor, Tom?
A fellow doctor,
No,
as
no,
long
no,
as
no,
she
no,
can
no.
work in my hospital.
Here's the thing. You wouldn't date a doctor because you'd be like, oh, this lady's too smart, right? Or like
It would depend on the doctorship.
a medical doctor,
Uh-huh.
general practice.
Or GP.
Yeah.
Um,
You would be like, this woman has her life far too together for me to. I met somebody who was a lawyer and they had their own like law firm.
war.
And it was just like a friend of a friend.
Uh-huh.
This is this dude, and I
Yeah.
was like, and he was like our age,
Yeah.
and I was just like,
23.
yeah, I was like, I can't like have a conversation with this guy. This guy's a real adult.
Yeah. He's going to start telling me about, like, well, my partners, blah, blah, blah.
Here's what Charlie needs to do:
Uh-huh.
You date, do whatever you do on those apps. But like, I don't know, it's not hard to find vegans that are looking for people to hang out with.
Well, it
Go down
depends
to
on
the
where he
skate
lives.
park. Go to a hardcore show, man.
Oh, you say that like you would be comfortable going to a skate park.
If I was a vegan, I would.
Yeah, I don't think you'd be comfortable going to the skate park.
Oh, I'm pretty much.
What if they were like, hey, man, prove that you belong here. Do an ollie.
Yeah,
do a
an
sick
ollie.
ollie.
I do it the sickest ollie.
I would date a doctor, but here's the problem. I think I would certainly be intimidated. You just closed your laptop on mine.
I did.
Hey, the show's not over. Don't close your fucking laptop. B, don't destroy mine while you're doing it.
Sorry. You wouldn't date a doctor. Why? Because you don't like smart women?
No, I would be intimidated. I'm not intimidated by women. I'm intimidated by most women. But I would be more concerned that, like, if somebody was a doctor, that they were like, all right, well, I've been nothing but a doctor for the past 10 years, and now I've got a date, and they wouldn't be good at dating.
Who cares? You're not good at dating.
I know. Well, one of us would have to
needs
be.
to be good at dating.
Yeah, come on.
Remember to ask for the check. Remember to end every night with a kiss. Is that what dating's like? I've never been on a date.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I don't know. Aren't there like vegan message boards or something?
Yeah. You can meet vegans. You don't have to meet vegans on a... Go to like a vegan restaurant. You can meet vegans. Well,
Yeah.
don't try and meet people at a restaurant. Nobody wants that.
I don't know. Here's the thing. It's kind of like
You can
vegans
meet
are a
the-
different breed, and everybody gets a bad rap.
Mhm.
I think vegans, where it's like, vegans always talk about how they're vegans, and it's
Yeah.
just like, no, everybody's always freaking talking about food, and like everybody's like eating, like all that, like most of like a certain percentage of society is like eating with others, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And so like it's a serious dietary
I think
restriction.
you mean culture, not society.
What do you mean?
You're saying like a certain portion of society is eating. Well,
No, like-
all of society's eating.
No. What I mean is like a certain part of like being out in society.
You're talking about like being a society, a social climber.
yeah,
a socialite.
being a society lady.
Yeah.
No. But like a certain part of being out in society,
Right.
it revolves around eating.
Yeah,
and everybody's
and
like,
vegans
vegans are always
very-
talking about themselves. Gluten-free people are always talking about how they're gluten-free. It's because they need like they have they need
comes
to
up a lot.
restrict their diet. Yeah. But so yeah, go anywhere and they'll tell you about it. It's fine.
Vegans, well.
Vegans.
Yeah.
You just go ring a bell and be like, vegans, make some. Here you go. Jackfruit barbecue
Oh,
sandwiches.
Yeah. I'd be friends with a vegan.
Yeah,
for
and be
that.
like vegan jackfruit sandwiches, and then boom.
Yeah. And if you can't find jackfruit in a can, you can just use pork. It's a great substitute. It has a very similar consistency.
It does. I don't know for sure. I can't tell you where to get jackfruit in a can.
Tim, we're going to go to Whole Foods after this. I'm going to march right up to somebody and ask for their manager.
I don't talk to anybody.
No,
I
you
talk-
don't have to talk. I'd prefer if you didn't. Just stand meekly beside me. And I'll be like, I'd
My
like to
son
speak to
is
your
looking
manager.
for the
He's
jackfruit
looking
in a
for
can.
jack-off fruit in a can.
That's a good one, Tom. If you like the show, there's stuff at tcgte.com.
Yes. You can also support the show at tcgt.com/pledge for our Patreon.
I don't like jack off humor, Tom.
Well, maybe you should try not being one then. A jack-off. Not
Like
a
wholesome
Not a
jokes.
humorous. You do like wholesome. You love that wholesome joke I told before.
I really did enjoy that joke.
You can also check out tcgt.com/Amazon for our Amazon links, and maybe Whole Foods links one day. And you can email us at completeguideeverything@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, facebook.com/completeguide. Follow us on Twitter at completeguide. Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Tom Reynolds.
Follow me on those things at your pal Tim.
And I think that's all the stuff, man.
That's all the time.
That's all
fit to Prime.
all the time that's fit to Amazon Prime.
Must you?
What? I'm just telling you that's a big part of Whole Foods now. You're going to need to be a Prime member to get in the door pretty soon. Who you care? You're a Prime member,
I'm a Prime.
aren't
member.
you? Jeez. Boy, you stopped my heart there for a second, Tim. I was doing a podcast with more people have Amazon Prime than cable now in the U.S. Cable television.
Okay.
Wild stuff, huh? Real wild stuff. We'll see you next week.